At the time of recording this, it's been interesting that there have been quite a few people on podcasts and YouTube discussions talking about some of their experiences as they were growing up as a child, as a teenager, and feeling quite socially awkward, not feeling that other people really understood the kind of people that they were, and so spending a lot of time in libraries or on their own and with books. And I resonate so deeply with that. I know that from some of my earliest childhood memories, I would play alone even if we were out at social events. We would attend as a family when I was quite young a lot of social church events, and my older brother and sister were encouraged, or maybe the word's actually forced, to take quite active roles in some of those events, and they hated it. I would actually beg my parents to let me be involved, and I would be told that I was too little. So we would go to these events and I would walk around for a little bit, look at everybody doing whatever they were doing, and I would just go and do something by myself. There was kind of two things that were at play even from my younger childhood. And one of those things was that I was not allowed to go and play at other children's houses or do things with other children unless their families were members of our church. So I was really quite limited because there weren't really many other children in my actual age group at church, and the few that there were I didn't even particularly like. So there was kind of those two things at play, if you know what I mean. I was being held back socially by my parents in who I was allowed to have contact with, and I just preferred the experience of being on my own and diving into make-believe worlds. When I reached the age of around 8 or 9 years old and I was starting to earn my own pocket money, I discovered the author Enid Blyton. I just threw myself into all of her fairy tale type books at that age, and I just could not wait until I would save enough money and was actually allowed to walk the 2 blocks to the shopping centre locally, and I could stand in this store. And I remember the smell and the feeling of new books in this store, even now. And I would pore over what Enid Blyton books were there and were available and make the choice of my next new book. And it was like absolute heaven for me to make my own choice and to buy a book with my own money, and then to come home and have the delicious experience of reading a brand new book. Interestingly, to me, each brand new Enid Blyton book felt like a brand new story. I wasn't recognizing how many similarities run through all of the fantasy stories that we really resonate with and love so well. We can have very different sounding characters on the outside, but there are often so many very deep resemblances between characters, and the more we delve into what's going on in the Wheel of Time, the more of those connections we find between the Wheel of Time and so many other beloved fantasy stories. And I think that that is one of the things that makes those stories so important to us. And of course, as a Wheel of Time fan, we realise that legend fades to myth and everything actually is connected and comes around and around and around.